Some of us heard these terms Darshana, Shastra, and Sutra. Let me give an example and you will clearly understand what I mean by it. Yoga Darshana, Yoga Shastra, and Yoga Sutras. We heard about Patanjali Yoga Sutras, right? Atha Yoganushashanam, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. These are the first two Yoga Sutras. Sutras are short, pithy statements or aphorisms. I'll explain more what these are, but I'm starting off with a commonly known example, Yoga Sutras. Atha Yoganushashanam, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So these are Yoga Sutras. Now, what is a Darshana, what is a Shastra, and what is a Sutra? These are commonly used words, but most people don't understand the difference between these three. Yoga Darshana, or what is a Darshana? Darshana is a Sanskrit word that comes from its root drish pashyati, to see. To see what? To see the world, to see aspects of the world and contemplate upon it, the nature of it, using epistemology, which is epistemology, ontology, metaphysics. They use all these. This is a philosophical branch. A darshana is a philosophy to understand the nature of the world from a particular viewpoint. You can look at the world and start making sense of it. You have to divide it, you have to take aspects of it and start making sense of it, build the building blocks, and then ultimately put all these together to make sense of the world. So, that branch of philosophy which investigates nature and its aspects in a certain way is called a darshana. In India, or ancient India, there are numerous darshanas, of which six became popular, six became famous, because they were extensively studied, and there was a lineage, there was a passing of knowledge over hundreds and thousands of years, and then that knowledge has been preserved for a long time. Some of it was lost and a lot of it was preserved, has been preserved for a long time. So this is a darshana. Darshana is a philosophical viewpoint, philosophical viewpoint. And then there are six major darshanas, like I said. Nyaya, Vaisheshika. See, they come in couplets. Nyaya, Vaisheshika. This is mostly tarka. Tarka means logic, using logic to make sense of the world, using rational thinking to make sense of the world. And they use pramanas, which means the means of attaining valid knowledge. Pramana, prameya, there is so many terminology in these fields, but I wanted to simplify it. So, darshana is a philosophical field of study. And what is a shastra? You take these principles, you take this rationalistic hypothesis or inquiry, and then start putting it to use. Bhautika, and then it becomes a shastra. For example, Bhautika Shastra, Rasayana Shastra, Kama Shastra. There are so many shastras like that, Ayurveda Shastra. So you have all these shastras. Shastras is another field where you take the principles from darshana and then start putting it to use and then create a framework, and then it becomes a shastra. And now, what is a sutra? Sutra is a medium in which all this knowledge is preserved and passed on. Sutra is just nothing but statements, short, pithy statements, or commonly called as aphorisms in English. Aphorisms where you preserve all this knowledge so that it goes on and it can be tested and it can be preserved and it can be passed on to the generations, if needed, modified, and so on. An example of sutra, like I mentioned earlier, is Atha Yoganushashanam, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. These are yoga sutras. And then, interestingly, there is a definition for sutra. Alpaksharam, Asandigdham, Saravat, Vishwatomukham, Astobham, Anavadhyancha, Sutram, Sutra, Vido, Viduhu. This is a long definition for it. A sutra has to meet, for something to qualify as a sutra, it has to meet a certain criteria. It has to be short, it has to have no objections, it should be um, applied in many different settings, and so on. Alpaksharam, Asandigdham, Saravat, Vishwatomukham, Astobham, Anavadhyancha, Sutram, Sutra Vido Viduhu. In another talk, I'll explain what all this means, but today's topic is the difference between a Darshana, a Shastra, and a Sutra. Darshana is a philosophical viewpoint, a Shastra is a practical application in a certain field of study, and then Sutra is the statements. Sometimes they lack a verb, sometimes they lack a noun, but they're short, pithy statements. It is very difficult to make sense of it unless they are explained within the context. So, sutras are short, pithy aphorisms, statements which preserve this knowledge and can be studied, can be passed on from one generation to another generation. Of course, you can test it. It's not like they cannot be tested, but you can test them, you can analyze them, you can study them, you can contest them, you can question them, and so on. So I hope you understand the difference between these three: Darshana, Shastra, and a Sutra.